The Mille Miglia Italian for 1,000 miles is one of the earliest and most recognized motor races from the 20th century. The race was an open road endurance round established in 1927 when Counts Francesco Mazzotti and Mille Miglia felt the need to start their own race after the Italian Grand Prix was moved from the hometown of Brescia to Monza. The race made grand tours famous from the marquees such as Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, BMW, Maserati, Mercedes Benz, and Porsche, and attracted top drivers such as legends like Juan Manuel Fangio and Stirling Moss. As previously mentioned, the Mille Miglia was established by Mazzotti and Magi, as well as the sports manager Renos Castanetto and motoring journalist Giovanni Canestrini. The race was chosen to be a figure-8 course that ran from Brescia to Rome and back, a distance of about 1,500 kilometers. However, later editions of the race made use of 12 different routes. To avoid traffic jams with such a huge range in pace between the cars, the slower cars started the race first, and the initial regulations were sparse and mainly ordered the entries were to be unmodified production vehicles, and that each entry was to pay 1 lira, which is basically, compared to today's money, it's not even worth $1.
Give me $1, man!
The first race took place on March 26, 1927 with 77 starters, all of which were Italian. 51 reached the finish line back in Brescia, led by Giuseppe Morandi, who won with a 2-liter Officine Maccain, a car company based out of Brescia, in 21 hours and 5 minutes, with an average speed of 78 kilometers, which is the equivalent of 48 miles an hour. So freaking fast. The 1930 race became that of legend when Tazio Nuvolari won the race in spectacular fashion with his Alfa Romeo 6C. Nuvolari started the race behind his teammate and rival at the time, Achille Barzi, due to the rule that meant there were separate start times determined by their qualifying pace. Although Nuvolari was leading, he was behind Barzi on the road. And in the early dawn, Nuvolari sat right behind Barzi and then cut his headlights off on the straight. In the cover of darkness, Nuvolari made his move, pulling alongside Barzi, and then like a boss, flicking his headlights on and then completing the overtake, and he won the race outright. The race throughout its history has been dominated by local drivers and marquees, but 3 of these races were won by foreign cars. The first occurrence, won by the supercharged Mercedes Benz SSKL in 1931, which became the first car to average higher than 100 kilometers. The 1940 race, however, was won by BMW with their 328 Berlinetta Touring, and in 1952, Mercedes Benz sought to earn a second win with their 300 SL Gullwing, but were beaten by Ferrari with their 250S Berlinetta Bengale, and in response, Mercedes-Benz decided to bring the Formula One experience over to the famous Italian race. And in 1955, showed the world 300 SLR based off of their Formula One car at the time. The 300 SLRs were piloted by an all-star lineup made up of the legend himself, Sir Stirling Moss, Juan Manuel Fangio, Hans Hermann, and Carl Kling. The enormous efforts of Mercedes-Benz were rewarded with Stirling Moss crossing the line in 10 hours and 7 minutes and 48 seconds to win the 1955 Mille Miglia at an average speed, so fast this time, of 99 miles an hour. Like much of motorsports in the 20th century, Mille Miglia was dangerous and was even called off in 1939 due to an accident in the previous race that killed spectators. The 1940 race was renamed the Grand Prix of Brescia and was a 62-mile, 9-lap short course in the plains. The 1957 race, however, would be the final edition of the race after 2 fatal crashes. There were some attempts to continue the race at road legal speeds in the same sections, but they were not able to capture the spectacle of its original format. In 1977, the name was revived for pre-1957 cars to parade around the original route over the course of several days. The Mille Miglia, along with other similar road endurance races, shaped the idea of a grand tour into iconic racers from the 6C, 300 CSL, 290mm, and many more. It saw drama and fairy tales from Nuvolari's incredible past, from the win, and 300 SLR's redemption from its predecessor. Endurance racing continues to live on today in permanent and semi-permanent tracks such as Sarthe, Spa, and Sebring. The name will be always associated with some of the greatest names in automobile history.
This is Gerbelinda Elite Auto Detailing. They provide best-in-class, full-service interior and exterior detailing, as well as paint protection film to protect your car from rocks and road debris, as well as ceramic coating to protect your car's paint for up to 5 years. Your Belinda Elite Auto Detailing has been in business for many years and has helped car owners revive their rides. Be sure to schedule an appointment today at www.yourbelindaeliteautodetailing.com.